What's happening, Steem? Right, spoiler alert, this might be a bit of a rant. I might end up being a bit of a rant. Um, I don't often go onto the trending page, and the reason is because it frustrates me to no heaven. It reminds me of why we need things like communities and why we need different landing pages where people can navigate very quickly to things that actually interest them. So I'll try and stay away from the trending page because 90% of the time it doesn't have much on there that actually interests me individually. But today I went on the trending page and lo and behold, it didn't disappoint me. So number one on the trending page was some kind of rant, and it was a rant about somebody on Steem chat trying to fish for cash. So pretending to be someone they weren't. I think they were pretending to be the guy that runs utopian.io. And the guy that runs utopian.io went on a rant saying, "You won't destroy me, blah, 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 blah," and this, that, and the other. And I thought, okay, everyone's entitled to vent. And so he vented. But I didn't think it was particularly profound because, fishers are going to fish, right? If there's any way in which scammers can try and make money, they're going to try and do it. And I think most people kind of know that. And if you get a private message that looks like a phishing attempt or spam, 99% of people know to just ignore it. So, I didn't quite get the rant, but yeah, you're entitled to rant. And I didn't quite understand why the rant was so popular. Yeah, it might be worth something, but I don't know. It kind of went to the top of the trending pages. It didn't get a payout. It did a client payout, which is fine, but still, it was very prominent for anybody that's new coming to Steem it. The first thing they see is somebody ranting about some random chat messaging app where someone's trying to fish. It's like, when I try and introduce people to Steem it and they see things like that, they just kind of like go, "What the fuck is this shit?" But yeah, so that was number one. And I was like, okay, why is it popular? So I looked down at the votes and I noticed that the top vote was from utopian.io. I was like, okay, wow. Okay, let me go and have a look what's going on there, because I didn't know that they were a big fish in the sea. So I looked, and lo and behold, I think they've been delegated something like 3 million steam power. I thought, shit, that's a whole load of steam power right there. And good on the guy on utopian.io. I was sitting next to him at one of the dinners in Steam Fest, and he seems like a nice enough guy. And I think obviously the sponsors are sponsoring utopian.io because they are looking for that to get wider adoption. So I can kind of see roughly the logic behind throwing some delegated Steam power to utopian.io. However, there are a number of issues that conjures up in my mind as an investor. Number one is that, I know that the guy that runs utopian.io is quite new to Steem, so he's probably still finding his legs. But occasionally, if you've got loads of Steam power and you've got a point that you want to make, the temptation to just go 100% upvote my post because whatever is huge. But then the ramifications of that is that, your post gets a disproportionate amount of prominence in this case, not so much payout because they decline payout on this one. And that kind of disproportionately skews its representation on the site. Because I know that most of those sponsors essentially sponsored utopian.io so that people that put together some proposals for GitHub pools or whatever it is, they get some upvotes. They certainly didn't do it so that it could kind of be used for rants, I'm sure. So there's that kind of problem with delegation, is that it can skew the rewards in ways in which the people that delegated it might not have intended. The second problem I have with delegation is that, I think people assume that, if you delegate somebody 3 million Steam power that, you know, you're giving more money, but you're actually not. All you're doing is you're just skewing how the pool is distributed. And one of the issues that I have with that is that you've got to be clear that what you're doing is going to ultimately bring more value to the Steem ecosystem. So essentially, are more people going to buy Steem because Utopian.io takes off or has more Steem power? And I'm not necessarily 100% convinced, because ultimately I think it's a fantastic idea. And I think, yes, it's very innovative, and I think it's great to reward developers. But that's a very, very niche market in terms of user adoption, right? So it's, I think it just seems more than it is, because it's quite highbrow, and developing seems quite highbrow. But put it this way, if you were to take a different approach, what if you sponsored, say, Justin Bieber, and you said to his team, look, we'll give Justin $3 million worth of Steem power with which he can reward his followers. And say Justin thought, oh yeah, great, you know, I can get some benefit, my followers can get some benefit. If that happened, as much as that might seem lowbrow, not only would that skew the rewards in the same way that Utopian.io skews rewards, but it would actually garner a bit of marketing interest that might actually bump up the price of Steem and increase the pool for everybody. So, you know, I just think that, again, a bit of a rant, I just think that sometimes we get caught up in our own little bubble of what looks good to us as a Steem community that might be kind of technologically driven, and might think about things that appeal to us. But when you are running a social platform or social media platform, the main aim or objective, to my mind, is mass adoption, getting a critical mass of users. And often you need to kind of think outside your own little bubble and what kind of appeals to yourself as a developer or wherever you are, and look at, well, actually, how can we make this platform strive? How can we get, you know, world domination, mass user adoption, and all the good things that come with that, including an increase in your investment. So look, just a little bit of a rant, just my perspective. You know, I'm always going to talk my mind. That's never going to stop, and it's not always going to be popular, but sometimes some things have to be said. That's that.